Hello everyone and welcome to all my dear students, and sorry for delay because of a technical problem. And my dear students, today in this class we are going to talk about the demographic measures at the second mortality rates. And before to discuss about the mortality rates, my dear students, today now once again I want to going to repeat some of the important portion of previous class. And my dear students, in our previous class, we had discussed the first measurement of demography, that is fertility rates. There are different ways to calculate fertility rates, like CBR, truth birth rate, G of R, general fertility rate, ASC of R, age specific fertility rate, and T of R, total fertility rate. All right. Now, my dear students, and today in this class, just I told you that today once again we are going to discuss about demographic measures and second mortality rates. Okay, my dear students, you can see on the screen, on the slide, mortality rates. And my dear students, as we all know that there are the three factors. There are the three factors that change the size of population. First, birth rate, that's a fertility rate. Second, mortality, so death rate, and last was the migration rate. So the three factors, birth, fertility, mortality, death, and migration, that change the size of population. And about that, in the previous class, we had already discussed about three major factors that change the size of population. And after then, there are some demographic measurement of the three factors. That is first, birth, fertility. In previous week, we detailedly discussed, talk about the fertility rate, and today in this class about the mortality rates. Okay, my dear students, you can see in the slide, and the mortality rates are also calculated in the different ways. And like fertility rate, in this mortality rates, there are the 5 ways to calculate the mortality rates. And in this mortality rate also, there are some of the formulas, and we have to calculate some numerical problems like a fertility rates. And to calculate different mortality rates, like fertility, we have to remember some formulas, important formulas to calculate the different mortality rates. Now, there are the 5 ways to calculate mortality rates. They are: number one, CDR, as a crude death rate; in birth, CBR; in mortality, death rate, as a CDR. And second, ASDR, age specific death rate. In fertility, we had talked about the ASFR, but in this mortality, just only one word is replaced, that is date. In fertility, birth; in mortality, death rate. So ASFR, that's a age specific death rate. And after the next way of mortality rate, infant mortality rate, short form IMR, infant mortality rate. And the next way to calculate mortality rate is CMR, that's a child mortality rate. And finally, next last way to calculate the mortality rate is MMR, that's a maternal mortality rate. Okay, so all together there are the 5 ways to calculate the mortality rates. Now, my dear students, after discussing about the 5 ways of mortality rates, now one by one we are going to distantly discuss about the different ways to calculate mortality rates with its formula and with example. Okay, my dear students, you can see on the slide, first way to calculate mortality rate as a CBR, that's a true death rate. First of all, I have mentioned the formula, and after that, one of the example to clarify the concept of CDR. And just in previous class, I told you that different demographic measurement are essential. That's why to calculate the different numerical problems. And to calculate different numerical problems, formula is very essential, right? So to calculate CDR, the formula is CDR equal to D by P multiplied by 1000. Now, what is the meaning of D and what is the meaning of P, you can see on the slide. My dear students, the meaning of D is dear, where D equal to total number of deaths in a given year, and P means median population of the year. So D by P, simply D, that's the number of death divided by total number of population multiplied by 1000. That's a formula to calculate CDR, crude death rate. And after the formula of CDR, I have mentioned one example to clarify, to calculate CDR. Okay, my dear student, you can see one of the example, and from this one example, you can also create the next example by taking some number, some useful data in a certain year. Okay, my dear students, now let's see the example of CDR. Suppose the total median population of a country. Suppose the total population of a country was 7,35,643 in 1995. Now calculate CDR. CDR means a crude death rate if 12,560 died in the same year. Now it's very simple to calculate the CDR, because I told you that to calculate the CDR or to calculate different measurement of demography, formulas are very essential. Now to calculate the CDR, CDR equal to D by P multiplied by 1000. And the top also you can see the formula of the CDR to calculate CDR, D by P into 1000. Now in example, you can see what's the total number of death. 12,560 divided by P means population. The total population was 7,35,643 multiplied by 1000. Now, while we do the cross and multiplication, the answer will become 17.07 per 1000. While we do the cross multiplication, the answer will become 17.07 per 1000. And my dear students, you have to remember, I told you the answer is 17.07 per 1000. Per 1000 is the unit of CDR, like a CBR. And while we discussed in a previous class about the CBR, while we calculate the answer, suppose the answer is 15, the unit will become per 1000. Like CBR, in CDR also, the unit is per 1000. Okay, my dear student. Once again, my dear students, you can see the same screen. You can also imagine, just I told you, I have mentioned only one example. You can also imagine, just for example, just I want to replace the number only to calculate the CDR. Suppose that the total median population of country was 5 lakh in 1990. Calculate CDR if 10,000 died in the same year. So by including the formula, we can easily calculate of CDR. So the CDR is the first one, measurement of mortality rate. All right. And after then, my dear students, you can see in the next slide, next measurement of mortality rate. And you can see on the screen the second measurement, age specific mortality rate. That's in short form is ASMR. ASMR, right? So you can see in the slide, the formula is mentioned here. ASDR, or M also, D means as a mortality death rate. ASMR or ASDR equal to D small a P divided by P small a multiplied by 1000. Now, what is the meaning of the D small a and what is the meaning of the P small a? Okay, there is a meaning you can see in the slide where DA equal to total number of deaths in a certain age group. Certain age group. For example, certain age group means under the age of 0 to 4, 5 to 9, 5 to 10 to 14, 15 to 20, 20 to 24, 25 to 29, like that. Certain age group. TA equal to total median population in the same age group. same age group. So once again, my dear students, I want to repeat the meaning of DA, total number of dates in a certain age group. And just I tell you, certain age group means under the age of suppose 0 to 4, 5 to 9, 10 to 14, 20 to 24, 25 to 29, 30 to 34, like that. That's a certain age group. So and PA equal, that's a total population. Now, after the meaning of D small a divided by P small a, there is one of the example, and from the example, it helps to clarify, and it also helps to calculate the ASDR. Now, suppose example is there. Suppose the total population, total media population of 20 to 24. My dear students, listen, 20 to 24 means that's a certain age group. Just I told you, not only 20 to 24, you can also imagine certain age group like 25 to 29, 30 to 34, 0 to 4, 5 to 9, like that. So total media population, certain age group, that's a 20 to 24 age group of any district in 2014 was 50,555. Now calculate ASDR if 750 died in the same year. Now we have to, for the solution, once again you can see the formula. The formula is total number of death of the certain age group divided by total number of population of that same age group multiplied by 1000. So my dear students, you can see here total death of under the age of 20 to 24, how much dear? 750, and total number of population was there 50,555 multiplied by 1000 equal to 14.8 per 1000 unit per 1000 ASDR. To calculate ASDR, the total date. Once again, my dear students, listen very carefully. You can also please note down in your copy total date of the certain age group divided by total number of population of that same age group multiplied by 1000 to calculate ASMR, second measurement of mortality rate, right? And after then, my dear student, the next measurement of mortality rate is the infant mortality rate. Third measurement of mortality rate, infant mortality rate. Okay. Okay, before to discuss about the formula and example, first of all, I want to define what is the meaning of infant. There are two categories, infant and child. And about the child, after infant, we'll discuss in the next slide. So infant under the age of 1. I think you all of you know that. Infant under the age of 1 or below the age of 1, meaning infant, and mortality death. So, okay, after the meaning of infant, IMR, that's the infant mortality rate, equal to formula D small o divided by B multiplied by 1000. Now, let's see what is the definition of the D small o and B. So, where D equal to total number of death in a certain year, and B, the meaning of B is total number of births in the same year. So my dear students, once again, you can see in the slide, this infant mortality rate is little bit different than the another measurement. IMR equal to, once again, total death under the age of 1, that means divided by total number of births in the same year multiplied by 1000 to calculate IMR or infant mortality rate. Okay, my dear students, after the formula, there is one example to calculate the infant mortality rate. So you can see on the slide, the example is just suppose that 9,000 infants were born in 1995 in a town. 9,000 infants were born in 1995 in a town, in a certain town. What will be the IMR? IMR means infant mortality rate if, you can see the condition, if 500 infants below age 1 died in the same year, right? The question is there, you can see. Once again, I want to read that question. 9,000 infants were born in 1995 in a town. Now we have to calculate IMR if 500 infants below age 1 died in the same year. In the same year means in 1995. That is the question. Now we have to calculate IMR. Okay, you can see the solution. Now to calculate the IMR, that's infant mortality rate, same as once again you can see the formula on the top of the screen, date by birth. So date by birth multiplied by 1000 to calculate the IMR. Now total date, you can see the question paper now. What's the total date under the age of 1, below the age of 1? That means you can see the slide 500, right? 500 infants below the 1 died in the same year. 500 divided by, now let's see the question, what is the total number of birth? It means 9,000, right? 9,000 infants were born in the 19 years. So 500 total number of death divided by total number of birth, that's a 9,000. So 5,000 divided by 9,000 multiplied by 1,000. So now while we do the cross multiplication, the answer will become 55.6 per 1,000. 55.6. For that we have to do cross multiplication, then the answer will become 55.6 per 1,000. Okay, my dear students, and for your easiness, for your kind information, if you want to calculate like IMR from your side also, you can imagine, you can take one of the example, and just I told you, just you have to replace the number only and certain year. So just for example, in the same example, suppose 8,000 infants were born in 2000 in a town. What will the IMR if 1,000 infants below age 1 died in the same year? Like that. So from the formula, we can easily calculate, because in the formula, just we have to put the data which will be given in the question paper. Okay, so this is about the infant mortality rate, right? Okay, my dear students, and after IMR, the next one is your child mortality rate. Now, let's start from the formula first of all, because formula is very important, very essential, and without formula, we cannot calculate any numerical problems. So formula is very essential, very important. Now, child mortality rate. And okay, before to discuss the formula, first child means under the age of 5, my dear students. Mind it, just in infant under the age of 1 or below the age of 1, that's an infant, and child below the age of 5 or under the age of 5, that's a child mortality rate. And mortality means, just I told you, as a death rate. Now, how can we calculate? What is the formula to calculate CMR? My dear students, you can see on the screen, CMR equal to D small c divided by P small c multiplied by 1,000. Now, my dear students, you can see on this slide to know the meaning of the D small c divided by meaning of P small c. Now, D equal to total number of deaths of children below 5 years. Just I told you, child below the age of 5 or under the age of 5, infant below the age of 1. Just we had discussed IMR. So total number of deaths of children below 5 years. P small c equal to total number of population of children below 5 years. That means simply remember death of child below 5 years divided by total number of population below the age of 5 years, right? That is a formula to calculate CMR. And after that, now example is here. Example, okay? Example, suppose in a village, or in a town, you can imagine, no problem. In a village or town, median population of children below 5 years of age was 6,500 in 1998. Now calculate CMR if 750 children died in the same year. Now we are going to calculate solution, and for the solution, once again in the top of the screen, the formula is mentioned here: CMR, D small c divided by P small c multiplied by 1000. It means total number of dead under the age of 5 divided by total number of population below the age of 5. So my dear students, you can see on the slide, you can see in the question paper the total number of dead is 750. There is given in the question paper, right? And what's the total number of population? The total number of population was given 6,500 in 1998, right? So 750 as a total dead below the age of 5 divided by total number of population, that is 6,500 multiplied by 1000. Now we have to calculate, we have to do the cross multiplication, then the answer will become 115.38 per 1000. 115.38 per 1000, the answer of CMR, as a child mortality rate, right? Okay, after then, my dear student, the last one way to calculate the mortality rate, and just I told you in the second slide, there is mentioning the different ways to calculate the mortality rates. So this, the last one, measurement of mortality rate, and this maternal mortality rate formula is there, formula first of all, and after then there is also one of the example to calculate the MMR, short form MMR, maternal mortality rate. Okay, my dear students, you can see the formula MMR equal to, that is a D small m divided by B. Once again, I will repeat, D small m divided by B multiplied by 1 lakh. And my dear student, you have to remember, just before this MMR, we had discussed 4 ways to calculate mortality rate. The unit was per 1000, but in case of this MMR, the unit is per lakh. So that's why we have to multiply by 1 lakh here. My dear students, it is multiplied by 1 lakh because MMR is calculate not in per 1000, calculate in per lakh. So that's why MMR equal to D small m divided by B multiplied by 1 lakh. That's a formula. Now, what is the meaning of D small m and B?
So why
DM equal to total number of death of pregnant and neonatal mothers in a certain year. That means total number of death of sir.
1 lakh sir किन multiply गर्ने?
Because you know, just we discuss CDR, right? ASDR. त्यसको युनिट भनेको per 1000 हुन्छ, मैले भने चारैवटामा के छ मल्टिपल बाइ 1000, त्यसको युनिट भनेको आन्सरमा के आउँछ per 1000 लेख्नु पर्छ, मैले अघि नै भनिसके हो। अब यसमा MMR मा किन त्यसको युनिट भनेको जस्तै आन्सर आउँदाखेरि आन्सरमा लेख्दाखेरि per 1000 नलेख्नु per लाख लेख्नु पर्ने हुन्छ, त्यो युनिट हो त्यसको। किन भन्दाखेरि हरेकको फर्मुला हुन्छ, हरेक फर्मुला अनुसार हामीले के हुन्छ त्यसको युनिट हुन्छ हैन। त्यो युनिट भएको हुनाले MMR रेट क्याल्कुलेट गर्नको युनिट भनेको पर लाखमा क्याल्कुलेट पर लाख हो, त्यो युनिट पर लाख भएको कारणले हामीले चाहिँ मल्टिपल बाइ 1 लाख गरेको के
सर 1 लाख नै किन भयो?
यस्तो हो, यसमा कस्तो हुन्छ र 1 लाखै हुनुको रिजन के हुन्छ अरे, यो भनेको कस्तो हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि अब अरुमा जस्तै हामीले CDR हाम्रो ASDR र CBR मा हामीले प्रायः हामीले मल्टिपल बाइ 1000 गर्यौं, त्यो भनेको पर 1000 हैन। अब यसमा हाम्रो कस्तो छ भन्दाखेरि यो एउटा भनेको जस्तै हाम्रो रुल जस्तै हो के, जस्तै MMR जस्तै CBR मा हामीले 1000 बाट अब हाम्रो प्रश्न पनि आउन सक्छ कि 1000 ले किन मल्टिप्लाई गर्नु पर्यो 100 ले गरे पनि हुन्छ। तर एउटा के छ भने एउटा रुल, एउटा प्रिन्सिपल के छ भन्दाखेरि एउटा प्रिन्सिपल हो यो हैन। प्रिन्सिपल के छ भन्दाखेरि CBR क्याल्कुलेसन, CDR क्याल्कुलेसन, ASFR क्याल्कुलेसन गर्नको लागि per thousand हुन्छ हैन त्यो एउटा प्रिन्सिपल सिद्धान्त हो अब यो एमएमआर क्याल्कुलेसन गर्नको लागि पनि एउटा युनिट लाख भएको हुनाले हामी के छ भन्दाखेरि मल्टिपल बाइ 1 लाख गरेको हो के किनभने जस्तै अघि मैले भने फेरि एकचोटि म लिइराउँछु सिबिआरमा के छ भने पर थाउजन्ड हामी लेख्छौँ किन लेख्छौँ भन्दाखेरि त्यो एउटा प्रिन्सिपल हो कि एउटा सिद्धान्त हो कि सिबिआर क्याल्कुलेसन पर थाउजन्डबाट हुन्छ त्यो युनिट भनेको पर थाउजन्ड हो त्यसैले मल्टिपल बाइ के गर्छौँ भने थाउजन्ड गर्छौँ त्यही भने जस्तै यो एमएमआर को युनिट पनि पर थाउजन्ड भएको हुनाले हामीले किन 1000 ले मल्टिप्लाई गर्नुको रिजन चाहिँ त्यो हो क्लियर भयो यस ओके after then okay my dear student you can see mmr equal to okay just I told you that the meaning also you can see where dm equal to total number of date of prenatal and neonatal mothers in a certain year simply total number of date of mother and b equal to total number of live birth total number of live birth so that means total number of date of pregnant or neonatal mothers in a certain year divided by total number of birth in a certain year multiplied by 1 lakh. Now for example, now there is one of the example and there is also one of the example that suppose D under the age of 15 to 49. My dear students, don't be confused. In example, there is D 15 to 49. 15 to 49 means under the age of 15 to 49. It means the total date of mother under the age of 15 to 49 equal to 200. Suppose in a certain hospital or in a certain area, in a certain hospital or in a certain area, the total date of mother under the age of 15 to 49. D 15 to 49 equal to 200. Suppose in a 2000 and in the same year total birth was suppose 50,000. Now calculate mmr, right? So my dear students, once again I want to repeat example D 15 to 49. The meaning of D 15 to 49 means total number of date under the age of 15 to 49. Total number of date of mother under the age of 15 to 49 was 200. Suppose in the year 1990. And in the same year, the total birth by the woman was 50,000. Calculate MMR. Calculate MMR. So MMR equal to, once again at the top of that screen you can see MMR equal to D small m, that's the total date of mother divided by birth in the same year multiplied by 1 lakh. Now equal to date 200 and divided by total birth 50,000 multiplied by 1 lakh. So in the slide there is a 1,000, there must be a 1 lakh. So multiply 1 lakh, and while we do the cross multiplication, the answer will become 400 per lakh. That's a unit of MMR. Okay, so this is also one of the way of measurement of mortality rate. So there are altogether 5 ways to calculate MMR. All right. And after then, my dear students, I have mentioned some numerical problems. Okay, I have mentioned 4 numerical problems, and these 4 numerical problems are the assignment homework for you. So in the next week, in the next class, you should have to complete some of the numerical problems, and these are some of the assignment. And in this, all 4 numerical problems. In this, 2 numericals, and the next slide there are other 2 numerical problems, and these numerical problems are linked with mortality rates only, because just today we discuss different ways to calculate mortality rate. So there are altogether 4 numerical problems. You can see on the slide, and by using that questions, please you can solve the different numerical problems. And just I told you, it is very simple, very easy to calculate these numerical problems. Just you can remember the formula to calculate different numerical problems. So these 4 numerical problems are for the assignment for you. Okay, my dear students. And my dear students, once again, I am going to conclude of this mortality rate. And just today in this class, we had discussed 5 measurement of mortality rate. 5 measurement of mortality rate. That's a CDR, ASDR, IMR, CMR, and MMR. And in 5 measurement of mortality rates, like of mortality rates, you should remember different formulas to calculate different numerical problems of mortality rates. And just I told you that formulas are very essential, because to calculate different numerical problems of mortality, like mortality, all the useful essential data will be given in the question paper. Just you can read that question, the numbers, the data will be mentioned in the question paper, and just in the formula, you have to replace the number data. Then we can easily calculate the different numerical problems of mortality rates. Not only mortality, about the first mortality rates. Similarly, while we discuss about the migration rate, also in the next class we'll discuss about the migration rate. In case of migration rate also, we have to remember, we have to point out some formulas to calculate different numerical problems. All right. Okay, all of you, thank you so much. I hope so you will calculate, you will complete, you will do your assignment. I told you that on the slide you can see the assignment for numerical problems. Okay, all of you, thank you so much.